I remember Tampa, the way she used to be, the places we would run to, the people we would see. Hey, you know what? Sometimes on live TV, some of the strangest things happen that we have really no rhyme or reason for. But I would like to welcome everybody to this, the Tampa Native Show. You know, if it's Thursday and it's 7 o'clock, by golly, you need to be in front of your TV because this is the Tampa Native Show. My name is Mario Nunez. I'm seated alongside my broadcast partner immediately to my left,
Sally Nunez,
the 15-minute girl, and to her left,
Steve Canella,
a.k.a. Tampa Steve. Now, tonight you've already noticed that Hello Dory wasn't here, and even more than that, we wish her well. She's at home feeling better.
Yeah, feel better.
Yeah, feel better, Dory, and hurry back. And even more than that, we had a little issue with our TriCaster tonight. So our little computer that's always at the ready for us, well,
not ready tonight.
Kind of deserted us tonight, but that's okay, because this is live TV, and we've got a show of all shows tonight. We've got a special guest in studio, Miss Helen Richards, and she's going to tell us all about the return of a Tampa legacy. And a restaurant and a name that most of us that grew up here certainly will remember with great fondness. That's the Seabreeze Restaurant. So hard by your telephones when we ask you for your phone calls in just a little bit. Before that, we're going to go ahead and take care of, as we like to say, housekeeping here.
That's right.
Remind everybody that Steve's got his computer on the desk with him tonight. So if you can't get in on the lines, be sure and send us an email with your question, your Bolita number, because we're going to take your Bolita number tonight on the laptop. Stevie, give them that email address.
That email address is show@tampanatives.com, and you have the IT department here up and running. So we'll take your Bolita numbers and also the question of the week.
Question of the week, 15-minute girl is?
Question of the day.
Did we decide? You remember?
Is
You remember?
Devil crab
or remember the lady out in front?
Oh, the mermaid.
There you go.
Which do you remember most?
Which do you remember the most? Which did you anticipate more? Getting to the restaurant and having that devil crab, that world famous devil crab, or as you drove up to the property, seeing the mermaid out there and just setting the mood, if you will. And of course, across the street was the auto park. Let's not forget.
And we all have memories of that.
We all have memories of the Seabreeze. I know I do. I know Stevie does too. In pre-production this week, we were excited once Helen graciously agreed to come on and do the show with us. And in talking to her in pre-production, we know one thing: there's so many stories here. Get ready, Tampa Native Show fans, because this just may
too many
be
for one night.
A two-parter.
Yes.
The comment line, we want to remind you, the comment line is 813-920-2508. In case you can't get in tonight, you want to leave your story, call the comment line. We'll record that and we'll play it on next week's show. Also, tonight's call-in number, I'll let you know, 813-977-6800. And if you're calling from out of state, guess what? It's 813-977-6800. So call in just a few minutes. This morning, gosh, I'm just kind of brokenhearted because this morning, the 15-minute girl and I went to the Ybor City Museum and we shot about a 3.5-minute video.
Very nice.
With three lovely ladies because this weekend, actually tonight, right now as we speak to you, they're opening a brand new exhibit at the Ybor City Museum all about baseball. B-E-I-S-B-O-L, baseball. Baseball history here in Tampa. Of course, Al Lopez being at the centerpiece of all of that wonderful history. We had a little video. We're not going to be able to play for you tonight, but it'll be fixed and it will be on the website by this weekend, so you will be able to see it. But we want to let you know that this coming Saturday, October 20th, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., they're going to have a family fun day. Today was a grand opening for VIPs and let's just say adult-centric, I guess you could say. But this weekend is going to be a family fun event, so bring the kids, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and for those of you that may not know, this is the old Ferlita Bakery, right there across the street on, I want to say it's 8th. That's correct. 8th, across the street from Centennial Park. Bring the kids, that's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're going to be there.
What'd you see?
So come out and say hello to the cast of the Tampa Native Show. Also this weekend on Saturday as well, we're going to be busy. The Holistic Health Haven, which is at 400 East Palm, is going to have its grand opening. That's from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. They're going to have giveaways and door prizes. Fire those on the go. Yeah, fire those on the go. This year's winner.
Oh, that's right.
Of the best Cuban sandwich, original version, is from the Cuban Sandwich Festival. It's going to be there as well. So stop up because the Tampa Natives show cast and crew will be there. They're going to be giving away neat things like, I think, facials and chair massages and reflexology. Holistic Health Haven. Everything organic, everything healing. they're going to be there to do that. Stevie, you got any other notes there that you want to run and lay on us?
Well, let me see. You mentioned that was PJ
Yep.
Testa's son, right?
That's
right.
John Testa,
Yeah.
PJ Testa's boy, and of course everybody knows PJ Testa is one of our big fans and one of our sponsors
Yes.
here. I've got a reminder here. I want to let everybody know, mark your calendars, November 10th at McFarland Park, Flavor of West Tampa. Proceeds to benefit the Judeo-Christian Health Clinic, wonderful organization that needs our help, and certainly we want to turn out in big numbers for that. Why do I say this? Because the Tampa Native Show is going to be there. We're everywhere. And I'm going to be helping to host the event. So that's going to be a lot of fun, food, music, bring the kids, bring the family. We've got a new sponsor, which is kind of like an old sponsor.
Yes.
That's the More family, La Segunda Central Bakery.
Thank you.
Another Tampa icon, another Tampa
Thank you,
legacy
guys.
family. Your check is cleared, and we appreciate that so much. Thank you for your sponsorship, for your love, and always your support of the Tampa Native Show. We do this show every week. Why? Because we share a common history. And a big part of that history are the stories that you guys impart to us each and every week when you call in. We're being recorded right now. And these shows, of course, will be recorded and showing on the USF Special Collections Library website into perpetuity.
Yeah.
Right? Last week we had Andy Hughes on with us. He told us a little bit about his relationship with Helen and working with her on the book. The book, that's a nice segue. The book that we're going to be
The
giving
book.
away this evening, signed to our lucky Bolita winner. Helen's going to graciously sign that book for us. Before we bring Helen on, there is something that we want to read to you.
That's right.
The 15-minute girl.
I will
wants
be
some.
reading.
It's kind of the opening paragraph.
It's a
of,
beautiful
Sets the
paragraph.
stage
of
perfectly.
Helen's book. And before we bring Helen on, 15-minute girl, do the honors if you don't mind.
Okay. Even a history as joyful as the Seabreezes is sad when it comes to an end. Like a large stone thrown into a still pond, the Seabreeze sent ripples throughout the Tampa Bay area, changing people's lives forever. Several generations of customers have shared countless precious memories, including coming of age, dating, engagements, birthdays, weddings, and baby showers. Both blessed and a blessing, the Seabreeze began with humble origins and ended as a cultural landmark. Facing the tranquil waters and salty air of Tampa Bay among swaying palm trees, it charmed guests and made history for over 70 years. That's quite a legacy.
That's an amazing,
Without further
amazing
ado.
story.
Yeah.
So, if our technical director at the switcher there is at the ready, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce to you our special guest this evening, and somebody who is the keeper of all things Seabreeze and those stories, Miss Helen Richards. Jeff, if you'll bring up that 4-shot for us, we would like to introduce our guest currently. And there she is. Helen, you can see yourself in the monitor. Now, we look a little tiny right there,
Yeah.
don't we? All
Look
of
at
a
that
sudden, we
picture
got
behind
real
us.
small.
Yeah.
But that's because we had to go to that wide shot. Helen, say hello to everybody.
Hello, audience. I am most honored and humbled to be here.
And welcome
we-
to our show.
And we're going to be talking a lot about Tampa because I live Tampa and I can tell you a lot about it. But I'm going to tell you the story of my life is what you're going to hear. It's not going to be just about the Seabreeze, but it's going to be a most interesting story because I went from rags to riches.
Nice. Very nice. And along the way, met some pretty interesting people, I can assume.
Most interesting people. That is the
And-
best part.
And the wonderful book, if we can hold that up, Stevie, hold that up so everybody can see that. That's the book that we're going to be giving away tonight.
And this is
so
a cookbook.
It's a
and-
cookbook
and
and a
history
history,
book.
and a
Yeah.
history
History
book
book
as
too.
well. And it'll be autographed and made special to
And
one lucky winner
You know,
tonight.
I had the pleasure and the honor of meeting with Helen Sunday for a few hours, getting some pictures for the show tonight. But I got to hear a little bit of the story of her life story, and just wait, it's going to be incredible. So we're excited.
Can't wait to read the book.
Ah,
And Andy was beaming, and of course you called in last week, which was really great.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
special.
We had a little snafu last week as well, if you recall, and Helen called in because
my cell phone.
Yep, she was not to be undaunted. We gave that we gave Steve's personal cell phone number out, and
Yeah.
certainly Helen called, and the call was recorded. It came out real great, and
Helen, start out by telling everybody what you told me Sunday about how you.
Well, let's start
At
from
the
where
beginning?
Yeah.
at the beginning.
beginning.
okay,
the
that's a
very
good place to start.
When I lived over in Drew Field. Well, I was born over in Drew Field. There was a Spoto dairy there, and when it was time for me to be born, there was not any doctors. Everybody was super poor. It was back during the Depression, and there was nobody to deliver me. So they went over and got the lady who delivered all the cows at the dairy, and that was the lady that delivered me, and that was my entrance into the world.
That's a story.
That is.
I think that deserves a bell ring right
I
there. You know, we save that special. That bell is for special occasions. Anybody who gets delivered by a veterinarian who's accustomed to delivering livestock, well, by God.
But then
Welcome to the world, Helen.
Well, thank you
entrance.
much.
Right.
And then as times got hard, everybody that was in Tampa that was a man had to go into the service. It was
Sure.
just the way it was. And my father went into the Coast Guard, and my mother was deaf, and I had 5 brothers and sisters, and times were hard. And so we moved temporarily over there on Hillsborough Avenue to a little furniture store. But they had to let my father out of the service so he could come home and take care of us, because my mother was not able to. But so we went back to where our home was, and somebody had stolen the house.
Stolen the house.
Took
The whole house?
They
Sorry,
had
could you
removed
speak
it.
that
so
happen?
that's not plugged into a receiver here. I believe you said somebody stole the entire house.
Not the
The
car,
entire
the house.
house.
That's amazing.
And
Not
so,
the picket fence, but
not
the whole
the whole house.
That
I mean,
takes
there
some
was just
effort.
nothing left there. And then I was about 5 years old, so we moved out there to, no, I guess it must have been about 6 or 7, because I was in the 2nd grade when we moved to Palm River. But my father bought land through the taxes. That's how so many people lost property and everything. So we ended up over there in
Sort of in the Claremelle area, or we would know as Claremelle?
Claremelle was not even thought of.
Oh, it was Palm River.
This was Palm River, and then when I got married, my neighbor asked me over for coffee, and I went in there and I says, "Oh my heavens!" I said, "I recognize the house." I said, "Everything in the house, I recognize it. Everything in the whole house, I knew."
Whoops.
And I says, "How did this house get here?" And she says, "Oh, somebody moved it
With
here."
great difficulty.
Oh my
I
God.
says, "Well, I
They
says,
didn't
I."
have houses, trucks and cranes back then. I
What a
imagine.
moment that must
That
have
was her
been.
house.
Yeah,
Oh
that
my
was
gosh.
That's
so
incredible.
we knew that. But anyway, when I was dating my husband, I was 16 when we started dating, and his idea of a big date was I got to carry the sack or push the tub, depending whether we was fishing or crabbing.
Of course.
You know, and we went on our first date at the Seabreeze.
Oh.
And that's where back then, that was the meeting place for everybody, anybody who was a teenager. They had curb service back then. It was a bunch of oyster shells and hoes and sand spurs
And this is the
drive-ins.
place that we
That
all
was the
recall
drive-in.
as the location, correct?
Yes.
The 22nd Street,
Well,
Causeway area.
You know, I really jumped the gun. I needed to tell you, when I was working downtown, I worked at the outlet, a clothing store, and at Woolworths, both places, different times. And we came by in 1950, and the Seabreeze was burning down. It was just nothing but smoke there. And my father worked for Cushman Motor Scooters, and the only way I could get to work was we had to wear high heels and dresses. And I had to ride on the back of his motor scooter, his Cushman motor scooter, to get to work. And I just knew my father was going to stop, and everybody was going to see me on the back of that scooter. And I was so embarrassed, but he didn't stop. So I
Thank
was
goodness.
glad of that.
That's a great
But
story.
that was
Stevie, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Have you got any emails yet?
Not yet.
Okay. That wasn't the question.
No.
That just came to me.
That was a
The
question.
question is this. Helen, don't you blurt out the answer. Cushman scooters. Talk to me, brother. What's the first image comes to your mind?
Well, I think of the little red scooter with the 2 wheels and the high handlebars.
Yeah, but
And,
what occupation more than any other Cushman scooter go?
Hardware?
Nope.
No.
Occupation. One more. I'm gonna give you one more, then I'm gonna ring the bell and I'm gonna answer the
I
question.
don't know.
How about a meter maid?
Okay.
How about the little meter maids? The
I never-
little
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Cushman
Yeah.
scooters.
That's right.
right.
Oh,
Am I the only one, ladies and gentlemen,
Yes.
of the Tampa Native
Yeah.
Show?
Okay.
Help me out.
is the only
Call
one.
us. The number is 813-977-6800. If it wasn't meter maids, what was it? Who else used the Cushman scooters? Everybody.
everybody used
Right.
them. We
I
rode
just
all
remember
over.
meter maids. That's
We
all I
rode
remember.
all over with them. My father was the inventor of the Harley Davidson, the suspension system, the handlebars.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Okay.
And-
So he tinkered around with that stuff.
And that was his.
built those.
Yes, that was his invention.
Wow.
for the
Quite an invention.
suspension system. But
So tell us more about Tampa back in the early days, because it's very rare for us to get somebody here in studio. We were fortunate enough to have Mr. Marcelo Maceda, on with us just months before he passed away. And you know, of course, at 92 years, he had more stories, and I just wish we had had more time with him. But he gave us a little look back into what Tampa was like back when it was dusty and there were no, and there was one traffic light. And
Mario, also, Helen, she lived in an area where full of rattlesnakes. Tell
yes,
us about that.
when we moved out there to Palm River, it was during the Depression, and we were very, very poor. We had nothing. My father we had a tar paper shack. That was all we had to live in. There was five children, and my mother and father, and tin roof and tar paper around the outside of 2x4s. And then a family of 3 moved in with us. There was no running water. There was no electricity. There was.
You say your mom was deaf as well?
Yes.
Everybody signed in the family?
No, she read lips, and she didn't miss anything.
Okay.
She didn't miss anything. She was quite a conversationalist, but she dug up all the palmettos all the way around to make a yard. And when every day we killed moccasins and rattlesnakes. Every day. I mean, all sizes, very, very large ones, very small ones. And my father was Indian. He was a Cherokee Indian, and he's full of Indian tales. And one of the tales he would always tell us is that you watch out for the coach whip snake, because they will wrap around you and whip you to death. And so he always described them, so we knew what they looked like. And one day I was out there in the yard, and my sister, who was 5 years younger than me, she was old enough to walk, but not old enough to know what you were saying. And she was sitting down out there, and I saw this big long coach whip coming up to her. And I mean, I couldn't let that coach whip my sister to death, so I ran and grabbed it by the tail. And I swung that snake around and around and around and around, and finally it slipped out of my hand, and I can still see it to this day crawling up that wall.
Wow.
It was.
Wasn't MacDill Air Force Base the property that ultimately became MacDill Air Force Base, known as Rattlesnake Point?
Well,
that was
I think that was the
proper name of the city itself.
Yes.
It was
there was a lot of snakes around.
And Drew Park had them as well?
Yeah, we haven't had them when I grew up.
Helen, this happens so often on the show.
It did.
When we get compelling guests. You can see the 2 lines flashing. We've
There's
got
the fire,
20
by the way.
images to go through. Good luck, Mr. Nunez, moderating this show, because it's already getting away from me. We want to talk about the images. We want to take our phone callers. Let's go to the phone, Stevie. What do you say? Because I'm sure these are people that you know and that love the Seabreeze and want to say hello to you. So, Stevie, do what you do.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hey guys, it's Rose and Debbie.
Hi,
Rose. Hi, Rose and
How are
Debbie.
Hey, I already told them. Anyway, just a couple weeks and stuff, but I saw that y'all were doing this tonight. Helen, hello.
Hey.
And I went to Palm River Elementary School, and my mom and dad, we lived right out there at 301 and 60. My dad worked for the railroad. And I tell you what, we used to go by the drive-in area, and just like you said, there was no pavement. It was like shells and sand and everything like that. But we'd get a whole bag of devil crabs for like $1.25 or $1.75 or something like that.
That's hard to believe now.
Yeah, it is.
It was great. And of course, sometimes we go across to the auto park drive-in where they gave you the little mosquito repellent.
Yes, the coils.
Coil.
Yeah, little
Right,
picks.
whenever the little coil thing.
Yes.
Exactly. Whenever we would go there. But so many memories of the Seabreeze, and I was very saddened when it closed, because even as a little kid in the 60s, as a teenager, just like Helen that you said, went there on dates.
Yep, a lot of memories.
Exactly. A lot of people from the Evergreen Estates, and of course Claremelle City was pulled up then. Who'd ever think Riverview would amount up to anything? I don't know. But
Apollo Beach, which was where you went out to practice 22 shooting.
Yeah, I don't remember going down there too much. I do remember my dad and my uncles and them, they would go crabbing at night sometimes on Saturday night. The crabs used to just crawl up on the walls.
They were in abundance, weren't they?
They were. But it's just a wonderful story in the book itself. If I don't win it tonight with my Belita number, I am going to go out and buy that.
Well, hopefully
It's
you will.
great.
Why don't you give us your Belita number, Rose?
Okay. Mine is 27 and
Okay.
is 17.
27 and 17,
27,
Rose 27,
17.
Debbie 17. And the question of the day,
All right, what's that?
devil crab or mermaid? Which do you remember the most?
The devil crab.
Yeah, see, we need to
That's an
get
easy
more
one.
difficult.
Yes,
Double
thank you, that's
crab
too
or
easy.
salad or double crab or...
Yeah, the mermaid, you know, I didn't even notice that, believe it or not, as a child, because they had that little window on the side of the building, you know, and we didn't eat in there a lot. I ate more
Takeaway?
inside when I became older. So I probably didn't even notice the mermaid when I was a kid. Probably my parents didn't want me to notice. Because then I would have like said, "Oh, I think it's somewhere to go play."
Yeah.
Well, we got you down for the double crab. Thank you so much, Rose.
Thanks,
Rose is
Rose.
one of our biggest fans, and she's called. Whenever she's home, she's watching the show.
You
Thank-
bet. All right, you guys, we're going to sit back and listen.
Thank you, sweetie.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, Rose.
All right, bye.
Did we talk about that picture real quick? You want to
Let's-
give us a little bit of history on that picture right there, Helen? Can you see it?
Yes, I can. That it was the bridge. At one time when the Seabreeze begun back in 1923, they were going to put in Peter O'Knight Airport was going to be built there.
Oh, wow.
When that was during the there was not anything, and this development company was going to make a big beach there, but there was not any bridge or going to it. The first two Seabreezes, you had to go down from 50th Street there because there was no other way. You had to go down 50th Street and you had to go make sure you went at low tide because if you get down in there,
you're stuck.
you cannot get out of there until the tide went back out again.
Wow.
So if the tide came in, you were
better
in
know how to read that
trouble.
tide table.
You
Yeah.
better know the tide before you go down there. And
plan
the
to stay a
first
while.
one, the very first one was just like a little shack. It was just made out of cedar log, planks, and
Yeah.
the front of the window it closed down like this, and they propped it up, and you put tables underneath it, and it was they cooked anything from out of the woods, just about.
Wow.
And then they had already started on the devil crabs way back then. They wanted something hot. They didn't waste anything back then during the Depression. So
Sure.
anything.
Yeah,
everything was
So
used.
everything was used. So
Yep.
they started on those crabs. So if you had crabs left over, you pick the meat and you make the little croquettes. And they made them hot. Everybody wanted them hot. So that's why they call them deviled crabs.
Yeah.
And then the second one they made a lot bigger, and it had a row of windows all the way down the side. But once they started dredging for the bridge, they were not on the shoreline anymore. So they were way back, but where they
Set
were
back a little
on it,
bit.
they were sitting way up on the shore. I mean, it was like 4 blocks away from where it is now. So the first two was 4 blocks away. It was right on the edge of where the city limits is, and they own the Lacatas on all the land where the dredging attached. And then so when they moved it to in 1926, the same day that the road opened, that's for
Is
the
this the grand
bridge. But
opening here?
that's the bridge up there that they're working on now. The only place to go with the bridge was the Seabreeze. That was as far as it went in the very, very beginning. And that was, I think, February the 11th of 1926. It was front page news, but that was the third Seabreeze. But that was the grand opening there. We know that
picture.
Jimmy Massaro's sister, I think her name was Rose, she was in the front car there with the governor, and she was on
Well,
that.
that's a pretty big
Yeah.
deal.
Yes,
That's
it
huge.
was, and they brought and the plane they
Oh, the seaplane? that
the
landed right there in the
seaplane
water?
Oh, wow.
well, I don't know if it landed in the water or not,
it-
but that was one of the first planes that was
The Janus?
yeah, the
seaplane?
Janus,
The Janus
yes.
plane. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
They were bringing it. They did a flyover there
Wow.
on that day, and it
How
was
exciting.
a very, very entertaining day. They had a whole parade. Everybody heading to the
That's a
Seabreeze,
huge deal.
and you
Yeah.
see the beginning of the Seabreeze. That's another one that was just on down the road when there was it was beginning.
Those cars.
Yeah, you can tell just what age it
Look at
was.
those
That was
cars.
1920.
That's 20s. That's
26.
20s.
That was the 26.
Wow.
Look at the crowd. That's a Burger Brothers photo.
Now,
Yeah.
now you can
Yes.
now you can understand why so many people have been waiting for this momentous occasion, which we get a chance to talk about here only on the Tampa Native Show. You're not going to see this on Fox. You're not going to see this on WTSP. Hello, we've got Miss Helen Richards here, live and in the studio. Yeah, we're going to go back to the phones real quick, but so much more to
We'll
go.
go back to some of the pictures too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
This is Jim Carney calling from West Tampa.
Hey,
Hi,
Jim
Carney
Carney.
from West Tampa. How are you?
Hey, Steve, I would have sent you an email, but I thought this story represented a whole bunch of, and Miss Helen, I'm sorry to skip ahead in time so much, but I really think I could represent a whole bunch of customers for the Seabreeze that might not otherwise get spoken for. We'd be out tarpon fishing the Palm River, McKay Bay, right around in the early '60s, and my dad would always make it a practice for lunch break to go to the Seabreeze by boat and buy us a bunch of deviled crabs. So that's the answer to my question. And I just lit up when I heard it was Seabreeze.
Oh, nice.
Brings back such fond childhood memories for me. And this is in the '60s, and I know you've got a much broader history on this, but I sure appreciate y'all letting me represent all the people who came there for lunch by boat.
It's such a landmark. You
And
know?
we certainly appreciate you calling us tonight, Jim, and sharing that
Nice to
memory,
hear from
because
you.
we always look forward to our calls from Jim Carney. You have a Lucky Bolita number tonight. We sure like to give you this book later on.
Oh yeah, that book. Yeah. I took 44.
44
Okay, you
is.
got it.
Channel 44. Speaking of 44, we got a special doctor who's going to be paying us a visit. I should say next week. So you want to be hard by your television. 6:30. That show starts. A little special start time. We'll tease that up and we'll get back to
6:30
that.
next week.
6:30.
Yeah.
We're going to give you an hour and a half of the Tampa Native Show next week. So
Say it loud and say it proud. All your viewers need to know that.
you betcha, brother. We
We'll
will
get
put
it out
that out
there.
there. You can believe that. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks for calling,
Okay,
Jim.
thank you. Salute and happy days.
Salute and
to
happy
you.
days. We love you, Tampa.
Okay,
See you,
bye-bye.
Jim.
Bye.
Hey, real quick.
That's Jim Carney. Yep. You got an email?
On this picture here, remember Andy Hughes last week, and we talked about this. He
Oh,
had the
yeah.
photo of the
Yeah.
logs.
right.
The cast,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
cedar logs that had
Yeah.
that special.
The one who I said his sister rode on the car.
Uh-huh.
He told me that he walked on those logs.
Oh,
This
my.
was after the 1921 hurricane,
Hurricane.
and these were the cedar logs that all got sent to the box factory. And when they went to the box factory, he said he walked on the logs and he saw the hollowed out ones with all the bootleg liquor in them, and that's how they went from
Surprise,
there
surprise.
to the.
Ingenious.
Isn't that amazing?
Ingenious. Anybody
Where
wonder
there's a will, there's a
how-
way.
Where there's a will, there
Yeah.
is a way.
And that we talked about it last week with Andy.
And that is just a different photo, a different shot of it.
Before they were
Look
broken.
at
Yeah.
that house. The house
Yeah.
was completely decimated.
Yeah.
That
That was
hurricane
that
tore
was the
everything.
last hurricane that hit Tampa directly. Was 1921.
Wow.
We haven't had another one hit
Knock on wood.
directly
Yeah.
since then.
Knock on that head, Steve. Go ahead. Give yourself a good night. No, we talked about that last week with Andy, and one thing for sure, prohibition. We know this for a fact. It really doesn't work, because if it's something, if it's a commodity, a service, whatever
Yeah,
that
whatever they want, people want, they're going to find a way
there's
to
a demand for.
It's just like kids. When you tell them you can't do something,
Oh,
they
yeah.
want
Yeah,
to do
that's
it.
the worst thing you could possibly do. And the other thing too is, Helen, when they're in their room and they're being real quiet, you better go check.
You better
on
go
them.
check on them.
Because one of two things, they're doing what they're not supposed to be doing, or hell, they open up the window, they're not even there anymore.
Oh,
They
I
took
understand
to their
that, too.
bikes and they just left.
I had 3 boys.
Not that I ever
I know
did that.
exactly
How
what
about
you're talking
another
about.
story from Helen, since we don't have any calls?
Okay, callers, there are 2 lines open. If you want to get in now, 813-977-6800. Shall we talk about that image right there on the screen? Is that what you read earlier? What's going on there?
No.
I can't hardly
That
see it.
you can't.
No, that's
okay,
not what I read.
that is the. We skipped one. They had a picture showed earlier. That would have been
Okay.
Seabreeze number 3,
That's
which
before
would have
the
been that was
fire, yeah.
before the fire. But you see, all 3 of them had the same windows all the way down the side. They
okay,
just
yes.
remodeled. When they remodeled, this was Seabreeze number 4
4.
right here. This is the 4th one.
Do we have a picture of the mermaid?
Stevie?
I don't know if we
I don't
have
think we
a-
do.
Oh.
I don't think
No?
we do.
Good, then we're just going to tease that all up because that'll be a surprise.
Well, you
You're
know
going to
what?
have to come out and see the new.
It might have been on the default, but we'll check. But Jeff, if you can, jump ahead to the next picture, which is.
Wait a minute. Let's go to
Let's
that
go
number
back to this
4.
one then, okay.
When
Okay, there it
number 4 was there, that's when I was. That's the one that burnt down. And
Okay.
when before it burnt down, every time we went by the Seabreeze, my father would make all of us kids. We had a little English Austin convertible, and we had 2 parents. And you know, it's only the size of this desk.
Yes,
and
very small.
all those kids in there, and he would make every one of us turn our head and look the other way. Well, every time we went by the Seabreeze.
After it burned.
No, before
Oh,
it
before.
burnt, because they sold alcohol there.
Oh, my.
That's great.
Oh. Wow, Helen. What era was that? Talk about a long time ago. Now, we saw this picture earlier.
That was the Seabreeze burning. There
Yeah.
was a
Literally.
there was a short in the neon light outside.
No.
That-
Wonder who made
No,
the
we
neon
don't want to
light.
know. We don't want to know. La 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 la. I'm sticking my fingers in my ears because one of our dear friends of the show, Mr. Johnny
Sinchet.
Sinchet,
The neon
if-
sign
If it was the neon sign people,
Yeah.
and if it la 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 la, we don't want to know. We don't. Johnny, if you're out there, you better call and defend your family's honor, son.
Well, they
'Cause
said
it sounds
that-
to me like your sign burned down the damn Seabreeze. What's going on, Helen?
Well, when the sign on the outside was a Coca-Cola sign, and that Coca-Cola sign, the Coke image was very big, and the Seabreeze words was very small. So there was we told Coca-Cola we need another sign like
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
for,
yeah.
for out,
Oh, that would
out
be-
there.
Well, let's go to our calls. Look, we made a call, and they made a call.
And they made 2 calls.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello, it's Tom from New York. How are you?
Hey,
Hey,
Tom
Tom.
from New York. Now, see, we have viewers just about all over the world. We actually have one that watches us each week from Brazil. This is a faithful viewer, Tom from New York. We don't know his last name. I think he's from New York, actually. Tommy, how
That
are you
works.
today?
Hi, Helen. How are you?
Okay.
Hi. Somebody stole the house? What's up with that?
That's
Pretty
amazing,
interesting
isn't
story,
it?
huh?
That was great,
And
huh?
think about how
That's
that must
amazing.
have been accomplished back in those days.
Yeah.
And who were they to actually leave the same things in the house so she could recognize them? What's up with that?
Or at
It
least
was
the layout of the
convenient.
house.
It was the inside
Yeah.
of the house that
Yeah.
I recognized. Well, I saw it. It looked familiar when we first drove up to it. I said, boy, that looks like our
Funny.
house. Then I went inside, and it's had a big arched entranceway.
Yeah.
And I said, I really recognize that house. And I said, let me just guess where every room is.
Oh, wow.
And
Close
and
your eyes
they
and
were-
walk through
yeah,
the house.
I could.
Awkward.
Yeah, it only got really awkward, Tommy, when she walked into the bedroom and saw her photograph on that wall. Then she knew unequivocally that must have been her house.
Oh, good Lord.
Well, when you come down here, hopefully in the springtime of next year, because we know you're planning a trip down here, you got to come down here and see us, Tom. We will treat you to a deviled crab at the Seabreeze like none you've ever had before.
Hey, did Helen, which was your favorite part? Carrying the sack or pushing the tub?
There you go. Tom's paying attention.
As long as I was with my husband, it didn't matter
Oh,
Oh,
look at that.
romantic.
Huh?
How
You
romantic.
think you're going to pull that one past this lady? I don't believe so.
And good job slinging that couch snake.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Better. Buggy whip snake. I don't know what it was, but she saved her little sister. Her sister didn't get bit by that
Did
snake.
get bit-
Whatever it takes.
Yes.
Whatever it
Tell me,
took.
what's your
Give her
Bolita-
whatever.
Give us your Bolita number tonight.
I'm not going to give you one because somebody in Tampa deserves that book.
You sure?
I think you're right, Tom.
Well, that's nice of
Thank
you.
you.
All right,
very nice of
Tom.
you,
Good man.
And
Tom.
just because you're so generous and gracious, Steve's buying the double crab when you come by, okay?
Well, I would have probably been at the auto parts store across the street looking at the mermaid.
Well, it was the auto park. Watch this. It was the auto park
Drive-in.
Park.
Park. Auto
no,
park.
P-A-R-K, excuse me. And the neat part about it was the way the screen was set up, you could actually see it from the restaurant. So you could see the movie, you just couldn't hear it. How about that one? Pretty cool. Thank you, Tom, for
Thanks
calling.
for
We always
calling,
appreciate
Tom.
you.
Thanks.
Take care.
Take care, folks.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
You know,
One of our big fans.
Before we go too far along, maybe
Sure.
we should back up one photo back to Robert Richards.
We did see that photograph, and I wanted
Jeff,
to.
you
Yeah,
can back
there
up.
it is. Talk a little bit of who's that handsome fellow
He
there?
is handsome.
That is
Who's
my.
that man? Look at that dashing figure.
That was my sugar love.
There you go.
It never changed.
Great photo.
We were together a lifetime. And
You're in pretty good shape right there. With all that fishing, pulling the, you know,
Very
rigging on the
handsome
boats
man.
and doing what you got to do out there.
he passed away 7 months ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
sorry.
Just 7 months ago.
Very
Just
recently.
7 months
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
yes.
Lifetime
It
together.
looks like a
That
wonderful
photograph that
Yes.
we saw
It
then,
does.
that was
Mm-hmm.
in the later years,
It
the one that
was.
we had. Do we have an image of that later
We
we
do,
can show?
we do.
Okay, great,
Very
great,
good.
great.
Mhm.
So he was on the water his whole life, pretty much.
His nickname was Captain Seaweed. When he was young, his first boat he bought for $1.50.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
And it took 4 guys to run it, 2 to row and 2 to bail. and
Hence
and
the
they
dollar
That's
price.
great.
And they always called him Captain Seaweed. And, and he
That's
would
cute.
throw them out of the boat. He'd get so mad at them for calling him that, but the name stuck.
Yeah.
When we ended up building all of our shrimp boats,
Yeah.
we named every one of the boats Seaweed.
Seaweed
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 1,
two,
Seaweed
yeah.
2.
Look, here's,
yes.
here's a whole list of them right here.
Look at the
So-
fleet
Yes,
right
yes,
there.
all
Look
of-
at the fleet
and
right
he
there.
built every one of them.
Now,
He built it himself.
you
Yes.
just said something that was amazing, and I want you to repeat it because I don't believe I heard you. He built those boats.
Yes.
Let's
Now,
talk
now,
about
now
The rigging, he had to have special
the
help with, I'm
seaweed.
thinking.
No, he did it, every bit of it.
Wow.
Now the seaweed 2 there. The first one that was a wooden boat.
Yes.
Now he rebuilt that one, and it was that was why we never. All the rest of the boats was all steel boats because he called me down there one day. He says, "I want you to, Helen, our boat through a plank," and we had just redid the whole boat from one end to the other, and it was on its way to Alabama, and it got as far as Tarpon Springs, and he said, "You got to come up here and look at this." And when I went up there and looked, and all the nail heads was perfect, but all that was holding the whole boat together was paint.
Oh,
Oh.
no.
Yeah.
All the electrolysis had made all the nails down to they were
Oh,
the size
wow.
of straight pins.
Oh my
And so from that day on, he said all
Gotta go
the
with metal.
boats is going to be metal
Gotta
boats.
go with
And,
metal.
and he was a boilermaker, so he knew, and every boat was perfect from one end to the other.
That's incredible.
So, and it provided us a very good living.
What a
For them.
great, just
Yes.
a lifetime.
Isn't that
Yeah.
something?
A lifetime.
Of
That's
not only
amazing.
time together building
Yes.
a family, but adventures on the seas, if we could call them that, and of
Yes.
course then building
The
this
very
Legacy
first
restaurant.
boat we built in our backyard, it was called just the Seaweed. It didn't have any ones or anything behind it. And it was a lifeboat from the shipyard. They bought it, him and his brother bought it on time. They paid, I think, $125 for it, but I think it took a couple of years to pay for it because there was no extra money. We
Yeah.
only
Right.
paid $10
Yeah.
a month as they had the $10 a month.
Yeah.
But when they finished it and they put it in our backyard, then it took 9 months to build that baby.
Wow.
What
That's-
stories.
what a
Let's
story.
go to
Right, yeah, I
line
can't even
5, I
imagine.
believe, Stevie. Do what you do.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Caller, are you there?
Hello, caller.
Caller.
I'll try it. Let me try this.
Wait,
I'll put
yeah.
my radio voice on. Caller, you're on the air with the Tampa Native Show. Talk to us now or forever hold your peace. Caller, are you there?
That didn't work.
Problem with the line.
All right, maybe we'll try. Caller, call us back. We saw you. You flashed green on us.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
There you go. Thank you. Now I'm on. My name is Trenton.
Trenton. Hi, Trenton.
Hey, Trenton.
First time caller.
First time caller?
Yes.
Welcome
always
to the
get a,
show.
Always
Our
get a bell
callers.
ring when you're the first time caller. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you guys. You're very welcome. I'm from the.
Talk to us here, Trenton. Try not to pay attention to that man who's talking on the TV because there's a little bit of a
Yeah.
delay and it'll throw you off. So
Oh.
mute your TV
Sure.
and talk to me on the phone right here. Talk to us on the phone.
All right. Thank you, sir. Sorry about that. Yeah. Anyway,
No worries.
I'm from Dover. I actually used to live in Causeway area, and I attended the same church as Helen.
There you go.
Oh,
So, hi, Helen.
hey, how
This
you
is-
doing?
Trenton, from where are you living now, Trenton?
Well, I'm living in the Plant City area,
Okay.
Dover area now.
Plant City, Dover. Gotcha.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to call because looking at all the pictures and things, I know that I'm young, I'm about 14, but I was looking at the pictures and I actually have one of the Seabreeze books granted by my gracious grandmother, and anyway, we just looked through them, and I never got a chance to actually go to the Seabreeze, and I actually thought it was like a good experience. And I would wish that history could repeat itself and that I could somehow, go there. And because trust me, I love seafood. Like, seafood is one of my main things that I love eating. So
Let us share with you here as host of
right.
the Tampa Native Show.
That dream will be coming true.
We kind of empathize with you in a big way, Trenton, because what we do here on the show every week, if you're just tuning in for the first time, is we talk about Tampa's history, and we wax nostalgic every week. And what you're saying to us, you said you were 14. Is that what I heard you say?
sure, that's very true.
That's probably one of the youngest calls
Yeah.
we've had, except
Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn might
Right,
be 12.
she was 12.
Yeah, but we love our young callers too. What we like to do is talk about history, Tampa's history, and we say to each other each and every week, wow, if we could just go back and see what it was like in the 40s and 30s. So you're not alone in your thinking, but the neat part about it is you're going to get a chance to visit the Seabreeze anew because, as we announced earlier in the top of the show, Seabreeze is coming back. This is the return of the Seabreeze, and tonight we're making that announcement.
Really, that's what you're addressing. Okay.
So get ready
Yeah.
for that. Now listen, before you go, I'm not going to ask you a question, devil, crab, or mermaid. Hell, you don't even know either one of those two. But you'll get to know that pretty soon. But you can give us a lucky bolita number. Give us a number, lucky drawing between 1 and 75.
1 in 75. I'm going to shoot for the lucky stars. I'm going to say 74.
74 it is. 74 for Trenton. And if you win, Trenton, you can give your book away to somebody who's special in your life, because since you already have a copy of it.
Oh, yeah, of course. They can go to anybody.
Well, thanks so much for calling. Listen,
you,
we're
Trent.
here every week. Look in on us every week. Helen's going to be back as well to tell, we've only got 20 minutes left in the show. I told you it goes
Amazing.
fast.
Yeah.
Helen. And we haven't even begun to, I think we're still in the 20s. Have we even
are
got to
still
the
in the
decade in the 30s yet?
Yeah.
The history can live throughout the future.
Yes, thank you,
right.
Trenton. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
calling, my man.
Great
We
call.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye now.
care.
Bye.
That's so nice.
Oh,
That's
nice.
That was
Trenton
very nice.
calling from the Plant City Dover.
Yes.
Do you have any emails?
No?
Okay, good.
We're not getting
we got
emails.
live callers. Let's
let's
go to our next
roll.
caller real quick, and then we'll come back and talk about that photograph. There looks like somebody's pulling a net up out of the water. Caller,
Go ahead, Mark.
you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Line 5. Caller. Is it really?
Okay.
Not
Oh,
working?
caller. Oh, it's hurting my heart. Okay,
Let's talk
so
about yeah.
this is the time of show when we say things like, boy, we wish Dory was here to screen our calls because we're losing that one particular call. Hey, we've got another one. Let's see. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, I'm a time caller on this particular evening.
I was going to say,
Okay,
that voice is way
that's
too
very
familiar to the
familiar.
Tampa Native Show.
Hi, Hugh.
Helen, that's Hugh Perret, another one of our big fans and ardent callers here on the
Yes.
show. Hey, Hugh, tell us your favorite Seabreeze story.
I really don't have one. I just,
Make one up, Hugh, because you're on the spot. And Helen's here, so be nice.
but I did want to ask her something.
Okay.
Go ahead.
please.
What I wanted to ask her is, what was your most prominent or most memorable dinner guest that you ever had at the Seabreeze?
Great question.
question.
She always has good questions.
That is a good one. One time, E.J. Salsinas, he brought Princess Margaret,
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
the Princess of Spain, and the King Hussein's daughter.
Wow.
To eat, and there was a fourth lady there, and our waitresses did not recognize who they were. I know E.J. told me that there was more machine guns out there in our parking lot than there is to guard that guards the president.
Wow.
There was so many out there, but you didn't see any of them. They were not obvious. But
That's incredible.
my waitress came back there to see me, and she said, "You should see this lady." She said, "You're not going to believe it. She's perfectly healthy, and the lady next to her is spoon feeding her as if she was a baby." And I knew
royalty.
right then that was
Royalty.
Princess,
Wow.
Yeah.
Princess Margaret.
That's amazing.
And so that was.
Any big sports fans? Any big sports
we had.
figures?
We had. I know Paul Newman was there.
Oh,
And he-
wow.
He's a
and he would-
favorite.
he would
Do we
not
have
even-
pictures of
and
that?
my husband would not leave me and let me touch him. Yeah, but
Piercing
that's
blue
okay.
eyes. You can see him all the way
How
across the
cool
dining room.
is
Yeah.
that?
Paul
But
Newman.
yes, him and his wife was there. They had just lost their son, and it was a sad time
Oh.
for them.
Yeah, wow.
But we had many, many, many wonderful, wonderful guests, and I think everyone was special.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think everybody who came there has a story. Anybody you ever talked to that's ever been to the Seabreeze, the first thing they'll do is say, "I've got a story for you."
Yeah.
That's right.
And that is, it was the most special place.
Well, let's see. I have it on good account that we have.
What about Hugh?
Is Hugh, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness, Hugh. Hi, Hugh.
Good thing I remembered you.
You know, they're talking to me in my earpiece here. They're telling me there's 15 minutes to go. I was just going to cue the 15-minute girl so she can do what she does.
Okay.
And at the same time, I was going to say, wow, that other caller's calling back, so we want to try to get that one call. That's
What's
called
your
twice
number,
before.
Hugh?
Hugh, give us your lucky number.
Oh, it's going to be, I want to take 47 tonight.
47.
Okay.
He changes it around a little
Yep, he does. Hugh is consistent at being inconsistent.
Yes.
Thanks, Hugh. We appreciate
Thank
your
you.
call.
Thank you.
Bye-bye
And
now.
while I have a moment, we have 15 more minutes to go, guys.
15
Amazing.
girl
You see
got
how
us
fast
again.
it goes?
Look at how fast.
bit. We'll have to have another show.
Yeah, we
Helen,
definitely have to have another
Did
show.
you sign that release? And
Yes.
good,
Yes.
because we got Andy on record. He's here for the rest of the
Yeah.
season. We're going to do the same with you. Caller, we hope that you're there. Caller, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Is this Mario or Steve?
This is Mario. Steve's
Mario, it's Keitha.
Hi,
Oh,
Keitha.
there it is. There it is.
Hey.
Hey, Keitha.
Keitha Abini, ladies and gentlemen. Keitha, thank you so much for calling. We know that you were going to try to call in tonight. We're so glad you got through.
My third try.
Well, the third time is
Charm.
charm. There it is.
At the ball field. Is Miss Richards on tonight?
She's right here with us. You can speak to her. So you're not actually watching us. You're just talking to us, correct?
Right. I'm not watching you. I'm at the ball field,
Because
but I
she's
have
at
to
the
talk
ball
to Miss Richards.
Okay,
very
go
good.
ahead.
Well, you've got the floor, Keitha, so tell Miss Richards whatever you'd like to tell her. And
Helen, this is Keitha.
Keitha Abini,
And Dylan's coach's wife.
Dylan's coach's wife.
Oh, okay. Glad
I'm
to
at
meet
Dylan's
you.
team right now.
Yeah, they're at the ball field currently.
The grandson.
Yes, he is a good pitcher.
He's a good pitcher. That's what
Took
Keitha
her
was saying.
medical supplies when her husband was ill.
Okay.
She's a good person. She gave me free devil class.
Oh, wow, lucky you.
Wow.
And I want her cookbook, but Jimmy won't bring me one, her son. I want a cookbook I want to buy from her.
Well, you might just win one tonight.
That's
we know
right.
your lucky
She's
number.
lucky.
is
Number
usually
seven.
7 for me.
I already got you.
3 for Joe.
And 3 for Joe.
Okay.
We've already got you written down. We're so glad you got in tonight, Keitha, because we read your post today on Facebook, and we know you had a lot to say.
Yeah.
And that you weren't sure whether you were going to be home in front of your TV or not, so we're glad that
Right.
you took the time to give us a call tonight. Any one special moment? Did Joe ever take you to the Seabreeze?
Oh, absolutely. Growing up, my whole family went there, and his whole family went there. We used to go 20 at a time.
Wow.
That's a big table.
That's a lot of people.
Well, the Seabreeze is a part of us, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Seabreeze is not only a part of Helen's history, certainly it's a part of Tampa's history, and I think we
I won't tell you how many years I've been there.
Uh-oh.
I don't want to tell you.
well, we know one thing, the Seabreeze is on its way back.
Yeah.
So we
Right.
will, as a Tampa Natives group, at some point have to have a collective event
Yeah,
where we
after
can all go
Seabreeze.
there together.
Can't wait.
Then, put us in.
Yep. Yeah, oh, absolutely. We'll have to christen it all together.
Okay, and tell her Dylan's doing great in the game.
Hello. Dylan's
Thank
doing
you.
great.
Good, good, good.
Okay.
That's good news.
Okay.
Our love to you
Thank
and
you,
Joe.
Keitha.
Thank you so much, Keitha.
All right, keep
Okay,
that.
bye-bye.
Take
Bye,
care.
guys. How about that? That's dedication. She's not even in front of her TV, but she wrote an email today that was, well, it took
Pretty
us
long.
5
Yeah.
minutes to read, and she just went on and on and on. She's such a big fan, not only of our show, but certainly baseball and certainly the Seabreeze, which you heard
Seabreeze,
tonight.
This photo here.
That's
you
a-
Tell me a little story about this the
Let's
other
talk
day.
about that twister.
Okay, that twister, I just happened to be, it was right in the middle of lunchtime, and I just happened to have my camera on my table, and we have there was 2 dining rooms. So there was the up front with all the rednecks, and there was all the back room with all the, doctors, lawyers,
suits,
and
the
Indian
suits, yeah, the
chiefs,
suits.
all the suits.
Yeah, work boots up front,
Yes,
suits in the
yeah,
back.
That's right. And so, but everybody in the front dining room ran outside, and we were close enough to that water spout that the water was hitting us. The
Oh,
spray
wow.
of it was
Wow.
hitting us, and we were so afraid that it was going to hit the Seabreeze, and everybody in the back dining room, we were afraid they wouldn't know anything about it. So I ran back there to make sure to warn them that there was a tornado right outside the window, and I went back there, and everybody in there was looking out the window and not missing a bite.
That's a great picture.
That's
That is
how
amazing.
Really
That's an
great
amazing
picture.
photo.
Yeah,
That's how good
it
the
really
food was.
is.
They didn't
Yeah.
want to risk.
Okay, Helen, thanks so much.
finishing our
Some oyster
food.
crackers, because this soup is pretty good. I'll tell you. That's a great picture.
It is.
That's a great
I love
story.
that picture.
Well, we got 10 minutes to go, my
Another
director's telling
story?
me. Thanks a
Oh, we have
lot,
another
Jeff,
call.
for just ruining the evening for us. I mean, you put a damper on things, Jeff.
And we have a couple more pictures
behind
of
the
it, too.
window there. No, listen,
Yeah.
we're kind of just warming
Yeah,
up.
it is.
Okay, let's do
That's
this
cool.
one real quick. Caller, as we have 10 minutes left of this week's Tampa Native Show. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, it's Debbie Palladini. Listen, I know Rose called earlier, but I have a question for Helen.
Go ahead.
Well, she started out telling us her history, but we don't know how she got to her present.
Very good, very good. And in the 10 minutes remaining, no chance that we're going to hear that story. Not a chance in the world. However,
She needs to come back.
yes,
She
of
will.
course, of
She
course,
will.
of course. And we'll
Probably
get
a
a
couple
little
more
bit more of
shows.
that right now. What do you say?
I love it.
All right, Deb. Thanks so
Thanks,
much.
Debbie.
So bring us up to date a little bit quickly. We
Might
know
have to
we know
skip
the
a few
yeah. Well, we got up to the point where you met your husband, and at 16 you guys were together since then, and maybe bring us through the birth of your children. I know we talked about 4 children.
We have that seaweed boat up there,
Okay.
and I need to tell you about that.
All right.
Now, that during the Cuban airlift, or
Missile crisis?
the crisis down in
The
Cuba,
Mariel boat lift?
the Mariel boat
that was
lift.
1980.
The original
1980,
name of this boat was the Mariel,
Oh, wow.
M-A-R-I-L.
Okay.
And the Cubans came in the middle of the night and wanted to buy the boat. They
what a
brought
story.
all these bags of money,
Oh,
dollar
my.
bills, change, $5 bills.
Wow.
We spent all night counting money.
Oh my God.
Oh my.
And
Because they wanted to buy the boat.
they used that boat
What
to
a
make
great
at least
story.
3 trips. And would you believe where it ended up at?
Where?
It ended up at Mariel, Cuba.
Oh, wow.
Mariel ended up at Mariel.
My-
But that
Oh,
was
what
the
a neat
boat.
story.
Kind of meant to be. I
And that's
guess.
the boat that threw the plank.
Oh,
Okay, so
well,
it is,
yep,
yes.
yep. When they made to Tarpon Springs.
What
Yes.
a story that
That's a
is.
great story.
All right, let's go. One more caller, then we're going to go to our Bolita drawing. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. I got an email.
I'm calling from Dover, and my name is Lloyd Charles.
Hi, Lloyd.
Welcome
You're calling.
in.
First time caller?
Yes, I am. And
First time. All first time callers get a bell rung here. That's a great picture there.
That is-
Lloyd, tell us, do you know the gentleman by the name of Trenton that called earlier?
Yes, I do.
No,
and
because
I-
you all live in the same neighborhood, don't you?
Excuse me?
You live in the same neighborhood, don't you?
That's correct.
You can't
And
fool
I
us.
just wanted to make a brief point.
Please.
I lived around the Seabreeze all my life, and I want to say that it's not so much that the Seabreeze was a special place, it's that the people were special people.
Yep.
That's well said.
And I couldn't emphasize that enough.
Well,
We
well,
see
very
that.
well put,
We
Lloyd.
see that.
Thank
And
you
that's a
very
great
much.
way to end a great night of callers.
Yes.
Listen, before we let you go, can you give us your lucky number between 1 and 75?
64.
64. Thanks, Lloyd. Listen, this is the first of possibly 1 or 2 more shows with the
Right.
lovely Miss Helen Richards, because we
There's
didn't
just
even
too
get
much.
half, a third of the stories out, and look at the hours almost gone. Thank you so much for your call. Be sure to look in on us on Thursday nights. You can also check our website out, TampaNativeShow.com. This show will be up there by this weekend, so you can watch it again as well. Thanks so much for calling.
I'll do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lloyd.
And you know, there's still a lot of photos too that we weren't able to show tonight. So there's another 15, 20 photos.
And we
Good-looking
have
man right there.
He
Good-looking lady
is.
too,
Yes.
huh?
He really is.
Yeah, it's a handsome
Yeah,
couple. That's
yes.
a great photo. Was that photograph in the restaurant, as I recall? Was that
No.
ever in the restaurant?
No,
Which was
that
the
never
photograph
was.
that was hanging there? The Licata family?
That was her son.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
that was her
right. That's
son.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. The one that was
Yeah,
wasn't
he
tragically
got-
killed.
Yes, he was
Yep.
killed in an
Automobile accident?
automobile
I do
accident.
remember that.
But we have to mention that we're making a Seabreeze on wheels.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
6 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen. Are you listening?
Jeff,
Are
let's
you
go-
ready?
Let's go back, Jeff, to number 19, Seabreeze on Wheels, the last
Helen,
photo.
nice and loud and proud. Let everybody know, because that's why they're watching tonight.
There it is.
There, it is going to be a Seabreeze on wheels. That is
Photograph.
the cover of our menu there. That's going to be our new menu.
Nice.
And it's going to be, we're going to have probably at least 50% of what we had at the Seabreeze. There is in a semi truck. It's at the corner of 301 and Causeway Boulevard, and it's probably open in a couple of weeks from now. So
Okay.
we're just moved it on the lot today. Yesterday,
Literally, okay,
literally put it over there, but then we still have all the connecting to do. We got to
Sure.
test everything and
Get your inspectors out there to
get
make
the
sure everything
inspectors
passes
out,
inspection.
and we have to make sure, because we're making the devil crabs at a different location. My daughter-in-law and my son, they're setting up another place over on Palm and North
For
Boulevard
preparation?
for preparation for all the devil crabs. They're making all the devil crabs there.
Mercy.
So, and it's going to be our business will feed their business, and their business will feed our
That's
business. So
great.
it'll work
Yeah.
out. The more we sell, the better they get, the more
Sure.
they make.
And I was
and
so
vice
lucky
versa.
on Sunday to go through. I actually got to walk through that semi. It's 53 feet long.
That's what I was
Oh,
going to say,
can't
Stevie.
even
This,
imagine.
this is not
This
your.
is not a small truck.
Yeah, this is not
No,
the
not your
nouveau
usual
new
food
kid
truck.
on the block.
Oh, and
This
it's beautiful. I mean, it's state of the art. Everything's stainless steel inside. It's just incredible.
could be
I can't
considered
wait.
the
I can't
mother
wait.
of all food trucks, and I say that with a smile because let's face it, when you've got a semi full of brand new equipment that's nothing but Seabreeze.
It's longer than
that's-
this room.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice, and it's going to feed a bunch of folks. And we will make sure, as the Tampa Native Show host, to get that information out to our viewers when you can expect to line up. And you might want
Put
to
it on
get
our
there early
Facebook
that day.
page, too.
Stevie, shall we do our drawing?
Yeah, we have 5 minutes left.
Jeff, make sure you let us know so we don't go over on our time. Oh, 4 minutes,
4 minutes,
to
you
go.
better
All
hurry.
right, this is what we typically do here. We always let our guest, Helen, reach into this bag. Now we've got, I'll just show you what you're reaching in for. This is our
Oh, this
tribute.
is
This
real
is our
belittle.
tribute. This is our tribute to Tampa's notorious and infamous history.
Do you
This is-
have some of them frozen?
Of
You know,
course.
so we can.
There's
I know
one
which
of
one
yours
to
there
pick
with
out.
it loaded
Yeah.
with lead pellet too,
Yeah.
so you get ready.
She knows the stories.
All right, reach in there good and grab one of those.
I'll
That
get
brought
the,
a
I'll
big
get,
smile to her
I'll
face.
get the cold one.
There you go. There you go. All right. Closest to, I won't tell you.
Without going
Oh,
over.
wow.
Okay.
Who picked 74?
Uh-oh.
They just went over.
Trenton.
I know, Trenton just went over because look what we got there.
73.
So you got to come down, come
Oh,
down,
no.
come down, and come down.
Closest
all the way
to.
without going.
It's gonna be
Oh.
Lloyd.
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 Well, that gentleman
Lloyd
out
from
there named
Dover.
Lloyd,
Yeah.
who happens to know that other gentleman named Trenton.
Trenton, you missed it
Lloyd,
by that much. You know?
send us an email, Lloyd. show@tampanatives.com. show@tampanatives.com so we can send you your winnings.
Yep.
And we'll have
Winning.
Miss Helen
The winnings.
sign it for you tonight. That's Lloyd. I'm assuming it's Lloyd.
That's how I spelled it.
That's how I
Okay,
spell
great.
it too. So congratulations, Lloyd. First time
Yeah,
callers.
that
And you know what
happens a
happens
lot,
on our show
actually.
all the
You're right.
time?
Yeah.
You're right.
First time
That's-
callers
that's
end up
incredible.
Yeah.
winning our giveaways, which is kind of neat. Now, Helen's promised us that when we get ready, we can put it out there for everybody to know what day the official opening will be. So for those of you that are waiting with bated breath like we are, stay tuned. Helen, will you come back and do more show with us?
As long as you can stand me.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. You know, and we must say, if the Argudos are out there watching tonight, and we hope that they are, Stephanie and Peggy, you guys to collectively cover about a century and a half of Tampa memories.
Yeah.
And Tampa history.
Isn't that true?
The Chiefless Corporation, the Seabreeze. I mean, there are other stories out there. We make this appeal each and every week to our fan base. If you know a story out there that's as compelling as Miss Helen's, please reach out to us and let us know, because it's our duty as Tampa Native show hosts to capture those memories
And record them.
for
Yeah.
the next generation to, like Trenton and like Lloyd, to be able to appreciate, because we're losing these stories every week. We just lost Sam Gibbons, you know,
Yes.
unfortunately, a great
We'll be doing a show on
humanitarian,
him too.
a public servant, and a Tampa native,
Yeah.
Plant High School graduate. So reach out to us and let us know that you've got some stories. It could be your family that you'd like to for us to preview. Helen, did you have a good time tonight?
I enjoyed it very much.
It went
you-
by
we're-
quick
we're
now,
happy
didn't
to
it?
have
Will you bring us
Very
some devil
quick.
crabs when you come back next time?
I'm thinking about it. If we
'Cause I'm
have,
kinda
if
hungry
we,
right now.
if we have them next time I come in, if we're making the double crabs and everything, I'll be sure to bring them
Oh,
in.
that would
Great.
be amazing. That would be. We're
Yes.
all just looking forward to it.
It'll make
Steve told
everybody
me.
hungry.
Steve told me. He said he walked through. It's state of the
Yeah.
art. Everything
Oh.
is just custom built, specific to that particular
Yes.
design. So, you know,
Yeah.
all the best with that, and with your
Thank
boys
you.
hard at work. I know it's going to come out well. What we do here on the show each and every week when we end the show, we do a little salute and happy day. So you got to
Right,
do
we'll
it
sign
with
off.
us when we do it, okay? And tonight, unfortunately, we don't have our closing credits
That's
because
right.
our TriCaster is
Yep.
being a little cantankerous tonight. That's that computer that runs the show. So
Mhm.
we'll just probably sign off, and then it'll just fade to black.
Will we sing instead?
No music tonight. Yeah,
Sorry.
no music. If you want to put up the producer credit, if you have an opportunity to do that, Jeff, you did it already. Thank you so much, because that's part of the rules and regulations. All right. So on behalf of Tampa Steve, the 15-minute girl, the lovely Helen Richards, and tonight's technical director, who through
Jeff.
no fault of his effort,
Yes.
Jeff,
Thank you very
so much
much,
for
Jeff.
standing in. My Mario Nunez saying salute,
Salute.
and
Happy
happy days.
days.
We love you, Tampa.
See you next week.
Thank you,
know
Helen.
it.
Thank you for having me.